There I go. Hey y'all, how y'all doing tonight? um, oh, what is that right there? Okay then. Hey, how y'all doing tonight? Tonight is going to be I am reacting to Shalyssa, that's me. Um, who is a content creator who happens to be my sister, one of my sisters that I raised. Hi Miss Coffee, how you doing tonight? Yeah, you made it, girl. Hey, you need to go to sleep. All right, then we ain't gonna keep it very long. I'm gonna come and I'm gonna drop this, but I'm responding to a story that my sister put out today. You know, she kind of like telling her story, but we gonna respect each other and like give our part of the story. She give her part of the story, and I'm kind of sticking on with her, and then I just talk about my part of the story. So, if you all haven't, if you haven't been over to check out Shalyssa's That's Me, then you're going to be a little bit lost in the sauce about his story because I'm not going to really tell her part. I'm going to just tell like my part of it. So she got to a part in this story, and I talked a little bit about this story last night. So in this story, she talked about that um a situation what she has going on in a narcissist relationship, the in this narcissist relationship that she's in, and also this guy that she's with also happens to be someone who is living the street life, because on these streets of YouTube you don't know what you can and cannot say. So I just want to tell my story, and if they give me something where this video does not make the cut or whatever, it is what it is. So I'm just going to talk about the story, and we're going to see what it do, because that's another part of learning YouTube that I have to learn. So in this situation, she's talking about a narcissist that she was dating. Well, upon one time in this story, um there became a situation where one night I was one day we were having a get together at one of my friends' house, and I asked for my nephew to be able to come over. And so he came over, had a good time, but then I started noticing like it was close time for him to go home. And all of a sudden he started doing this thing where he was hiding up under the sofa and all kinds of things. And then he's like, I recognize the things, but I was like, something's not right. So I started to talk to my friend, and I was like, do things seem a little off to you or whatever? And she was like, yeah, a little bit, but he's been, running around like the rest of the kids all day long. But at this moment, it's like, something's not right. So, um, I asked him, was he okay? And I think at this time he may have been, just to put it in context, he may have, we're going to say at this time he was maybe 10, maybe. So, um, but I pulled him to the side and I asked him, I said, is something wrong? You need to talk to me about something. And he was like, not really, but he was like, do I have to go home? And I said, well, your mom says she's coming to pick you up at X, Y, and Z time. And he was like, but can I just stay the night? So I was like, okay then. Um, so I told him, yeah, he can stay the night. So I knew, like later on or whatever, like I'm not the kind that I take a kid and just start prying them and asking them all kinds of questions and stuff like that. I'll kind of have a conversation with them, and if they start talking openly and freely, I'm going to, I'll talk to them in that way. But I don't like to make kids, tell their business or their household and all of that there stuff. But if it comes to you, then we gonna roll with it how it comes to you. So um he was just like he didn't want to go home. So later on, we went on about our business, and my sister agreed he can stay the night. I can keep him for this night. So I keep him for this night. And when we go home to my home, he said to me, Auntie, I got something to tell you, but I'm scared to tell you. And I told him, I say, you don't have to be afraid about anything that you tell me. I say, you can tell me anything. And I say, go ahead and tell me. And he hesitated for a while, but he starts to talk. And actually, at the time that he did it, I'm in possession of, I recorded him talking to me and my husband. And so, and my sister is aware of it. I don't keep no secrets about that. No, if you know, none of y'all know who I am. Is like, no, I don't keep those kind of secrets. I'm straightforward with it. I let her know I recorded him saying whatever it is that he needed to say. And absolutely, I want to, before it's inside of anybody's mind, he did not have not one issue with his mom. The issue that he had was that his mom did not know what her narcissist boyfriend was doing to him when she was not at home. So he began to tell me, and it was like, at first it was things like, well, when my mom leaves and go to work, he'll make me go out and knock on different people's door in the neighborhood and everything and ask for money, stuff like that, and then he'd have to bring the money back to him. So I was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, I'll say, well, what do you do all day long? When you all hang out together or whatever. He was like, nothing really. It was like, I just kind of lay on the floor in the corner with a cover over my head. And I was like, yeah, okay, then I don't like that either. And then he told me some other things, but I don't want to get too deep into it because, I don't know what YouTube is doing. But he told me some things to get the family riled up pretty good. And I think you all can just about guesstimate that when he didn't want to do the things that he was demanding of him to do, he had a response to them, and they crossed the line of things he should be doing to him. Nothing actual, if you know what that means, with the S. But kind of like how guys like, we'll call it a chin check or something like that. He was doing things like that to him, but he was a 10-year-old and he was advising him to do things that he absolutely should not have been doing based off of the things that he was doing, because he was one of those, he was doing extracurricular street things that shouldn't have no kid involved or no none of that. And I'm trying to explain it to y'all in the best way without going overboard. So if you want to know a little bit more about it, go to Shalyssa, that's me page after this right here, and you'll more understand the story about the things that he was doing. He was doing illicit things. So we all know what that means. Okay, so after he finished telling me the story, as he telling me this story, the story is bad enough for me to make the decision in my mind that when she gets ready to come and pick him up, and as long as she with this person, he won't be going home with her. So and the last thing my nephew ended up telling me was, and oh auntie, you can't say nothing because he told me that if I tell my auntie that he gonna take the whole family out. He gonna do this to the family. He gonna do that to the family. So I told him, I say, okay, then don't worry about any of that. I say, nobody's gonna come over here and harm us. Nobody's gonna do any of that. No, none of that. So I'm like, okay, then. And really, as he's saying it to me, I don't actually see the effects that it's having on him at this moment, because we going through the process. First thing has to happen is it's time for his mom to come and pick him up. So before she can even come there, and I didn't say anything to him. So he is like, and he had already told me that he really loved his mom, and he don't want to leave his mom there by herself with him because he don't trust this guy. So, and I'm just reiterating to him is that that's kind of not your responsibility. I know that you care for your mom or whatever, but you really can't do anything about it. So I said to him, I'll talk to your mom and we'll see what we can get done. So, anyways, when my sister came to pick him up, she was I had already went and got me a chair and sat out on the driveway, and I was waiting on her to pull up. And I didn't know what response that I was going to get from her because I'd never been in this position before where I got to have a standoff with my sister about her kid. So she pulls up from work and she's coming to get him. She get out with all smiles coming up to the door and everything. And she was like, okay, is he ready to go or whatever? And I said to her, I said, well, I don't know what you gonna do, what your plan is. I say, if you're gonna come out a bag on me, if you want to scream, if you want to fight, whatever it is that you want to do. I say, I just want to let you know. My nephew won't be going home with you tonight. And I said, and I don't know when he gonna be going home with you, but tonight he's going to be staying here. She was like, what do you mean? I said, just what I said. I said, he said your man been doing stuff to him. Again, not actually with the S, but he's been doing things to him that he should not be having to go through. Period. So I said, he won't be going home with you. Her first thought was, do he still love me? And she started crying. And I said to her, oh, there is no doubt in my mind that he loves you. I say he made sure and made that clear from the get-go that he loved his mom. He just don't love the situation that his mom is at this time. So the next question she asked me was, does he even want to see me? I said, I'm more than positive he wants to see you. I'm telling you, there's nothing about his love that has changed about you. He just don't want to be there around him. So she asked me, can he come outside and talk to her? And I said, yeah, he can come outside and talk to you. I say, matter of fact, I say, you can spend as much time with him as you want to. I say, but I'm going to put down some ground rules right now. I say, you can spend as much time with him. You can take him wherever you want to take him. I said, but the first time that I hear about you putting him in the same space with this guy, there's going to be a problem. So in her story, she's already telling you about there's a CPS worker that's been asking her questions because he's acting different in school, much different than what he used to act. So this CPS worker is questioning her already. They are not already closed the case because they didn't find anything, but she's hounding her about a signature. And this lady has already contacted me and talked to me. So I already know. My thing is, if I hear about you having him around him, I'm going to go ahead and contact that CPS worker and I'm going to tell her everything that had been going on. So your best bet is to not let them cross paths. I don't even want him to see his face, period. No more fear, no none of that. Because he done told him he going to take everybody out in my house. He going to take some of the other family members out or whatever. And I guess it was just something that he was saying to him to make him be in fear of opening his mouth and telling somebody about what all was going on there in their household. So she submitted to everything that I put on the table, and we stuck with the bargain of he's going to be here. Now, something happened later on down the line where I think the CPS worker and him, well, she met up with the CPS worker at a place, but I guess he was tweaking or something. And if you understand what tweaking mean, then you already know what I'm talking about. This guy's issue is. He's tweaking in front of the CPS worker. There's also a police officer there. So already there's concerns. So the CPS worker calls me and tell me she is looking at, she wants to remove him. But now she is finding out via my sister that I've already removed the nephew from out of the situation. So now he's living with me, which then in turn they they don't close the case out, but then they start offering me help to see if there's anything that I needed help with him and any of that stuff like that right there. So but I didn't need any help from them or whatever, because his mom provided everything that he needed. And the only thing was is just his position of where he laid his head at was with me. So after we got all of that cleared away, this is his first night here. Well, not his first night living with me, because he was living with me. I told a couple of stories about it before when she first got pregnant with him and everything. But this was at this night, we're getting ready. This is his first night going to sleep at my place since this incident has happened. So he's laying down and he's tossing and turning, tossing and turning, tossing and turning, and he could not go to sleep. Which was my first inkling that, you hear what a kid say, but all the time you can't take everything they say for face value. Because the things that he was telling me, some of them was like over the top or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that sounded a little imaginary or whatever about what he was saying that he was going to do or whatever. But later on, I found out this is a kind of a weird person. So now I can go back and just about imagine he said everything that my nephew told me that he was saying. But anyways, that night my nephew was afraid of going to sleep because he was afraid that this guy was going to come in and he was going to cause harm to the family or whatever. So he tossed and turned, tossed and turned. And so I finally went in there and I sat on the side of him and I just talked him through, and I just told him, I said, listen, you don't have to worry about staying woke and not getting you any sleep. I say, you got school in the morning. I say, your uncle is going to be up all night long watching everything. And I say, let me tell you something else. I say, if anybody comes over here, I said, first thing's going to happen. I say, the dog is going to start barking. I say, so he going to let us know that somebody's out there. I say, your uncle going to go, just reassuring him that everything is going to be okay. Go to sleep and get you some rest. So in this situation, because of all of the reactions that he was having from what was happening to him, the next time my sister pulled up at our house, now I got three pretty big sons, but I also have some other kids that I raised too that, don't mind handling some things. So the next time she pulls up out there and she pull on the side of the road, they all suspect that he could be in the car with her. So every time she pull up in her car, my sons are letting it be known that, oh, he better not be in that car, because they go and snatching her car doors open, looking inside her cars and everything, because you know there's a lot going on. And just because I don't know, and one of the things that really got me was this thing of like, I'm gonna say it this way, head bumping. Like you standing against the wall and like maybe a person might be standing in front of you talking to you or something, and then they do something like maybe hit your forehead or something to make your head bump into. Let's just say that some things like that was happening, but he wasn't allowed to tell anybody or knowing anything. And I guess like he got in the right space at the right time. It's like, let me tell my auntie, she gonna understand. And that's what he did. And so I got him from that point. He never did go into any CPS custody. They just made sure everything was okay. And he instantly started showing signs of things were better up until the day that there was a message at his school, um, that he was there trying to pick him up from school. So, um, and come to find out after I did my investigations or whatever, because he called me from school saying that he was up in the office trying to sign him out of school or whatever. And I went to the school and everything and I checked that out and let the school know, yeah, he can't pick him up. I'm the only one that can pick him up, or either his mom from school, and that is point blank period. Everything that's like rolled in my thing. And I don't know what it is or what it was about me. Whenever I would have somebody else's kid, custody of somebody else's kid, but not legal custody, everything would always work out in my favor. It would flow very easily. I have never had a hard time with raising other people's kids. I'm meaning far as like getting them in school, being able to do certain things with them, being able to take them to doctor's appointments, to get their checkups, being able to take them to the dentist and all of that stuff. I've never ran into any of those wishes, and God knows I don't ever want to run into any of those issues. But with every kid that I've raised before and I've been able to move around as if they were my kids that I gave birth to. And mind you, I tell you, that's 14 times over that I've been able to do that. And I really haven't had a whole bunch of issues. But you know how they say you done made it, you done skated through all of those things and you didn't have a whole bunch of issues, then it always have to be that one. Because I said all the times that I've been pregnant in my life, I didn't have no heavy issues, did natural birth with all of them, no medications, no none of that. And then come the last one when I know I'm finna get my tubes tied. That's the one that I have to have a C-section with. So I guess I got to experience everything in one way. So now my claim to fame is I'm not raising anybody else's kids anymore or no nothing. And so now come along my last baby that I got right now, who is 4 years old, and I've been through stuff that I ain't never had to go through before. With this, I've been stopped at the hospital before and them questioning me and telling me, oh, we got to get in contact with this person before we can treat her and all of that stuff. So, and still at the end of the day, I still can't complain and say anything went wrong with that, because that even worked itself out and I ended up walking out of there with a jewel. So I've just always been blessed in that area. But yeah, she told a part about there was a point that I took her kid away from her. I absolutely did. I did not want to have to do that, but it is what I did. And just because a family member is going through those things in that way, I know it can be very hard and frustrating. Very hard and frustrating. Hey, Aisha, to go through those situations. And a lot of people don't know how to handle them, because I'm telling you, I was standing there waiting on her to get off work, and I was ready for whatever it is that she was ready to do at that point. And God knows that I didn't want it to go wrong, but I knew she loved her son and I knew her son loved her. So I didn't know what her reaction was going to be for me to say to her, you can't take your own kid home. So you know, the reaction that I got from her is, yes, her feelings was hurt and everything, because she thought maybe, he didn't want to see her, whatever. But everything worked out well for her. But I'm here to tell you that this is not the worst of the story, in my opinion, by a long shot, because this story has a lot of twists and turns to it, and this situation gave me a lot of headaches. A lot. A lot, a lot. And I don't know how I was able to be in the space to deal with all that was going down in this relationship. And in this relationship, she had so many outs, but she just kept jumping in. And I could not understand it. But I'm gonna try not to go too far because I'm trying to stay along with because if you're telling your own story and especially your family, you kind of let a person tell their story. You try not to go too far along ahead of it, but y'all know me when I started talking, like so many things be going through my mind, and then you talk about one story, then it leads you down another path to another part of the story and everything. So like I got so many pieces of the story in my head, but I'm just trying to stick along with the part that she's talking about right now at this day and age, and I'm trying to hang on the side of her. So if you haven't gone over and seen Shalyssa, that's me. She's telling stories about the narcissist relationship she's been in and how she's growing from those situations, and telling the stories to be able to help other people that go through those things. And I'm only speaking about it when she bring up a part of the situation where I had to join it. And then she doing the same thing as when she get to my part, she let them know that I'm the sister that was doing X, Y, and Z. And then if you want to hear her part of the story, then you go over and hear her part of the story. So, kind of like tag teaming the story so everybody can get everybody's part of the story. And so with that being said, I don't know if anybody has any questions, but again, I'm trying to tell you that I'm kind of trying to stay in this place right here. So if you have any questions about the parts that we talked about tonight, then I'll be more than willing to answer any of those questions. If you have any questions, point blank period, about anything or any other things, I'm also willing to answer those questions and talk about those things too. So um I don't know what this is there. But if that is all, I'm just over here, right now we are the high class gardeners over here. And over here, we're about growing. We're about growing in the garden, but we also would like what we're growing in the garden, we also would like to run it alongside of us growing in life, point blank, period. And learning about these situations and being able to grow from them. It may not be you that's in the situation that's going through it right now, but everybody got a process you going through. Either you getting ready to go through a process or you coming out of a process. Everybody go through process in their life. And if we able to talk about them, and figure out how we work through them, because there's somebody else that can make it through their process the same way you made it through yours, and your story might be the one story that guide them through theirs, because they done tried it every other way, and this is their last chance for trying to figure out how to get through this situation. So you just never know unless you share your stories. That sometimes the person sitting right, you ever went somewhere like to an appointment or something, and you sit next to a person, and the person next to you start talking to you about something that you done been through before, and you don't have no clue who these people is. So just imagine how many times you show up in different places and you're there, and the person sitting on side, it may be 15 people inside of that place done been through the same thing you going through, but nobody don't know, because ain't nobody willing to talk to nobody about it. Everybody just think they alone in the situation that they going through. So sometimes, and not all the time, because we're not on here sharing everything. We on here sharing some things. So imagine the things that we have not shared on here. We have been through a lot. So we here telling the stories just so that maybe we can help somebody else. go through some of the things that we've been through, because you can't tell nobody how to go through anything if you can't witness to nobody if you ain't never been through nothing. So hey, I was supposed to do business with this lady. Why I found out she's a sociopath. Please be careful, y'all. Yeah. IRS process. Sometimes your storms aren't yours. You right about that, Aisha. Sometimes your story, your storm ain't yours. Sometimes there's people that go through certain situations before you go through them, and it ain't necessarily theirs on, but you go through it because you're the stronger one, and you will be able to help the person who is going through it that can't exactly handle it in the same way that you go through. Process, all process. So you know, that is very true. Sometimes your storm ain't your storm. But I hope in this story, or wherever we going with this, because I don't know where are we gonna go. I'm following behind her lead with whatever she's talking about, until like I get back to a place of maybe some things that I want to talk about. Where right now ain't nothing bothering me. Right now I'm so excited about everything that's going on in my garden, even though it ain't, it may not be the biggest of the biggest things to anybody else, but honey, we got babies out there. Me and my folks, we growing together. I, I tell the high class gardeners, we planted that stuff together. This our fruit that we going. Don't let me have to open up a mailing system where I'll be mailing everybody one squash and one zucchini, and going on and everything. But we growing together, whether it's in that garden out there or whether it's in real life. We about growing over here. So, you know, if we can possibly help someone get through what we going through. Hey, Lady Diamond. You want a squash or a zucchini. You can get it too. But um whether we want to or not, we all gonna go through a process. The only thing is, I'll say, don't don't let what you're going through be in vain. I'm not saying that you have to share everything or know nothing. People are very embarrassed about sharing some things. As a matter of fact, there are some things that I was embarrassed about for years and years of my life. Took me 47 years to be able to open up my mouth and say some of those things. But okay, Lady Di, you're a part of the high class gardeners now. Yes, ma'am. So if you're I'm sure everybody has some things that has happened in their life or whatever that they didn't want somebody to find out, and you'll find out later on down the line those very things that burden you, and as soon as you let them loose, you'll find out they don't have as much power as you was giving them, because we actually give those situations the power, but we have the authority to take our power back. I'm back. Had to give this girl my yeah, them grandkids be doing you in, don't Miss Coffee? Go ahead and handle it. And the devil wants you to be silent, so he wants you to hide behind those traumas and shyness and makeup. And even X. Don't be tricked. Open your mouth. Don't be muted. Yes, that's one of my things. And there's people that done been in here, and some people, the first way they met me was coming on here. I call it the ugly cry, but that ugly cry took some weights up off of my shoulder. And I can tell by the response that I got from those videos, there is no way in the world I'm out here all alone in what I'm going through, because there was too many people that understood what I had been through. So, and the only thing that I was doing was freeing myself. So don't sit in your silence Don't sit in your silence and think you're the only one alone out there. Trust me, you got a twin somewhere out there somewhere going through the same thing you going through. Yes, I got free after cussing out my family members. Oh, Miss Coffee, well, you already know. I done did that several times over. And it's like you go back to it over again because not because you're a glutton for punishment. I'm pretty sure you're cussing your family out because you tired of them being in the same spot they in and you steady trying to tell them to come up out of that space, and they still keep on going back there, but they won't. And the example keep being put right in your face. You ain't going out there and doing it in front of some other family member or no nothing like that. You keep doing the same stuff that you've been doing in front of my face when I done told you before. Don't be doing that. And then they keep on trying, and eventually you have to open up your mouth and say something. It's like some of us are put in certain spots that we don't really want, because I feel like I'm the one, like the what do they call them, the I know y'all know what I'm talking about. When you be the one put on the forefront. I don't know how I got in that position, but like the matriarch, like the matriarch of the family. It's like you're the one that everybody come to and they talk stuff to. They don't say nothing to each other, but everybody come back to the motherboard and tell the motherboard everything. And then I can come in the room and I can say something about it, but it's like um I don't know. It's like I'm the only one that will say something, and even though everybody else in the room know that it happened, I'm still on the limb by my own self. So, you know, sometimes it ain't so bad to be on the limb all by yourself. It can be hurtful sometimes, but you know that's what God set you at, apart. That's what I'll say about that. That was a good one. You're not alone. Read Book of Luke to y'all 100%. Oh, let me tell you something, honey. When somebody tell me to read something that's in the good book, honey, I write that down. Let me write that down. Yes, ma'am. I will be reading Luke tonight, the book of Luke. Yes, ma'am. I always write the verses down. Yes. um, they be the ones. Yep. Now telling these fools to store and prep. Okay, Miss Coffee, that's what I let me tell you something. That's what I do, and that's why I went. And I know y'all can see it too. It's like if I'm on here and I'm saying to somebody, grow your food, plant something, plant anything. When somebody come and tell me that they planting something, I be head first in. It's like, I'm ready. What you gonna grow? How you gonna grow? Any questions that somebody got? I don't know if I'll be overwhelmed with that one day or whatever, but right now I am so excited to help somebody to get involved with it. And I've seen so many people just like grow from like me just saying, why don't you try it? Won't you try this? It's so much better. And to finally see like I can talk some people into doing these things, I get super excited to see somebody come along and start doing these things. And then I don't have to say anything to them. They start enjoying everything about their garden and growing their own food. And then they start talking about what else they gonna do. Honey, I got my whole godmama out here. She turning her whole. She done got her some chickens and everything. And again, here we talking. I don't went into another thing because we be all over the place. I said, don't knock on my door when hits the fan. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And then when it hit the fan, when stuff do hit the fan, I'm gonna go down the line and I'm gonna point out everything that I try to. Cause they got them ones that say, I don't like when people say, I tried to tell you, no. I'm gonna go down the line and I'm gonna explain to you how many 500 ways that I tried to tell you that it wasn't gonna work out for you, but you didn't want to listen. So if you want to keep on going, now you're going on down that line, and now when you get a little taste of it, then I might turn back around and give you a little bit of how to help you move from out of that place. But already be knowing that you have good intentions, and they know that you be telling them the truth, but they just want to fight against it. And I like to say too, it ain't the people, it's the spirit that's inside of those people. But Miss Coffee, I already know you know that anyway. So but yeah, it be just like that. To everyone out here, heads up, the devil knows what you like, so be careful on who you receive gifts and help from. Stop biting your tongue to speak up, speak out. You could save a life. And that's absolutely true. Speak up and speak out. So, but you all, we are the high class gardeners over here, where we always interested in growing and how else we can grow. And yes, today we was out in the garden and discovered we got us some baby squash out there coming up, and everything else. And I'm so excited tomorrow, because let me tell you something. I'm waking up tomorrow morning. Listen, the night before I even close my eyes, I'm going to sleep with high expectations, because I expect in the morning when we get up and go out in the garden, and listen, I'm talking about in the morning, because I know I got some other things that I need to do, but I always had a garden on the brain. But I'm in a place of expectancy that something's going to look significantly different in the garden when I go out there in the morning. Because I just believe all the stuff that I went out there and did today, my plant's going to be like, look, high class gardeners, look what happened last night. Because we took some extra care of them today, didn't we, high class gardeners? So we going to see. I think our watermelon going to stretch their wings out, and they going to be taller in the morning. All of that good stuff. And then I found my, yes, I said I found my sweet potato vines that I pulled up from last growing season during the winter time. And I put them in a 5-gallon bucket. And guess what? I planned on throwing them away or giving them away. Those things, it rained in the bucket, and the vines are still out there growing. Don't you know you can take a sweet potato vine and you can just cut clippings off of them and stick them in the ground anywhere all over the place, and you can have sweet potatoes wherever. I got a 5-gallon bucket full of sweet potato vines. So I'm thinking tomorrow sometime that I need to cut them up and stick them in the ground, because over here we all about growing. Not only growing out in the garden, but growing in real life. Our garden is a representation of how we growing in life. So over here we gonna tell the stories, but we also want to know, how did you grow from the story that you're telling? So my sister is over telling and talking to people that are in narcissist relationships, and the things that you will go through, because she started from this place. And to me, just looking at her, the testimony is absolutely beautiful with all the hell that we went through. The testimony itself is beautiful of where she started as to where she is right now. And so I just can't tell y'all how excited about it. But, go and hear some of her stories about this story that I talked about tonight. And I know y'all can't go back and listen to it. And for those ones that was not in here when the video started, this video will not be back up as soon. I'm going to let it sit, and I'll probably re-release it tomorrow, because it's doing everything. It might be on members only. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell y'all, I have members only. I have some videos over there. I don't quite know what I'm doing yet or whatever, but I have some videos on over there. And we'll be doing some other things. I'll figure it out as I go along the way, but it's just some videos that if you really wanted to see them, then you would have to join the membership to be able to see them. But This video may be up under members only, but I may release it if, according to what YouTube say, because I haven't learned them quite yet. We learning together. We growing together. So anybody have any advice on any of that stuff? I haven't learned all the things. I'm watching other people and I'm seeing how they skate around different words. So I learn in that way right there. But I don't know all the ins and out of it, and I don't think anybody else does. I think it's the YouTube in its own self is a learning experience for itself. But I'm here more so in. I love helping people through, especially things that I done been through before in my life. I love trying to help people through those situations, only if they want the help. So, they say we have not because we ask not. So throw your questions out there, make you up you ain't gotta have your real name. You ain't gotta have your real name on here or any of that stuff to be able to ask any questions or any of that stuff. But get it how you get it. Ask somebody who you trust, or whatever. Or say you asking for a friend. I done seen that before. I'm asking for a friend. So, but get your answers however you get them and continue to grow in what you're doing. And I'm going to get ready to say goodnight to y'all. But this over here, we are the high class gardeners, where we all about growing in the garden. The high class part of it is that we don't mess with bugs, worms, and we don't mess with snakes. But being a gardener, we got husbands and sons and other people that ain't scared of those things that'll come and handle that stuff right there. We just in charge of growing the food. We ain't playing around with none of that stuff. And in real life, we don't play around with snakes and bugs. So that's qualifies us as high class gardeners. So continue to grow, you all. Grow, grow, grow. Dream about growing tonight in real life and in your garden. Make sure you're growing something in your garden. It don't take much to be able to grow something. Miss Your Thoughts already came through and told us you can go and buy a pack of seeds and sling them across the ground. You guaranteed something gonna grow. So don't be like that talking about you can't grow nothing. Because you can go and get a pack of seeds from out of the store. You can go to that fresh section in the grocery store, the vegetable section. Get you some stuff from over there. If you eat tomatoes, squash, zucchini, anything that got a seed in them, flake some of them out there and flake them on the ground and see what come up. There is no excuse. You ain't gotta be no fancy grower. Not at all. Get some seeds and sling them down on the ground and watch how amazed you will be at what come up. Don't be afraid. Just do it. Like the Nike shoe. Just do it. All right, y'all. Good night, because we'll be done started a whole nother conversation. I get excited when we talk about growing. Yes, yes, yes. But hopefully see you all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night, and please dream about growing. Grow, grow, grow. All right, Miss Coffee. I want to see them pictures tomorrow. Different ones though. All right, then I'll talk to you all tomorrow sometime. Y'all have a good night.